Welcome to Better English.
Speak English with confidence.
You stand in a room full of strangers. Your heart is racing because you do not know how to start a conversation. You feel like everyone else has a secret script you did not get.
That is exactly how it feels. It is so exhausting trying to figure out what to say next.
By the end of this video, you will have your own script. You will know how to walk into any room and feel totally in control.
I love that. We are going to focus on the best small talk tips for introverts that actually make a difference.
We keep it very simple. No textbook talk, just the parts that actually matter.
That sounds perfect for someone who just wants results.
Exactly. Let us jump right in.
Here is the first thing you need to know.
Small talk is a skill you can build, not a personality trait you are born with. Let that sink in for a second. Small talk is a skill you can build, not a personality trait you are born with.
It is just like learning to ride a bike. Once you know the steps, the fear starts to fade. That makes so much sense.
Many introverts think they are at a disadvantage because they are quiet. I used to believe that being the loudest person was the only way to win.
I felt the same way for years. I thought I had to perform like an actor just to be liked.
Actually, your ability to stay quiet is your biggest strength in a conversation. You notice things that others miss.
That sounds like a superpower. How do we actually use that when we are standing there?
It starts with looking for what I call a conversation anchor. This is just something in the room you can both see.
So instead of thinking of a clever line, I just look at what is happening around us.
Exactly. I remember being at a tech mixer last year. I was so nervous I could barely breathe. I noticed the person next to me was wearing a very unique watch.
Did you just walk up and talk about the watch?
I did. I asked if there was a story behind it. It turns out it was a gift from his grandfather. We talked for 20 minutes.
That is so much easier than trying to be funny or smart.
It really is. Think about the last time you felt stuck. You were probably looking inside your own head for an answer.
I definitely was. I was searching for the perfect sentence while the other person was just waiting.
Here is a key concept to remember. Use your environment to find your first sentence instead of your imagination. Think about that. Use your environment to find your first sentence instead of your imagination.
So if I am at a wedding, I talk about the flowers. If I am at work, I talk about the new coffee machine.
Precisely. It takes the pressure off you to be the source of entertainment.
But what if they give me a very short answer? I always worry about the conversation dying immediately.
That happens. But your job is just to provide the hook. Most people are actually happy to talk if you give them a reason.
I suppose most people are just as nervous as we are.
You would be surprised. Even the most social people have moments of doubt.
So my silence is actually a tool for observation.
It is. When you watch people, you see what they are interested in.
I noticed a guy once who kept looking at the dessert table. I should have just asked him, which one looked best?
That would have been a perfect opening. It is low stakes and very natural.
Here is another thing. Observing helps you find the right person to talk to.
One more time. Observing helps you find the right person to talk to.
You look for the person who is also standing alone or looking approachable.
Right. Do not go for the middle of a big circle. Go for the edges.
That feels much safer. It feels like I am choosing the interaction instead of it happening to me.
That shift in control is everything for an introvert.
You are not just a victim of the social setting anymore.
Exactly. You are an active participant who is making choices.
Let us talk about what happens after that first sentence.
Before we do, remember this. The best small talk starts with what is already in the room. Here it is again. The best small talk starts with what is already in the room.
I am going to try that next time I am at the office.
Ask yourself this. What is one thing in your office right now that could be a conversation starter?
Probably the giant pile of boxes by the elevator.
That is a perfect anchor. Anyone walking by has noticed them.
It is so simple. I keep trying to make it complicated.
Most people do. But simplicity is what makes you approachable.
People like simple things because they are easy to respond to.
Exactly. You want to make it easy for the other person to help you,
That leads into the next big thing I want to ask you about.
which is,
How do I keep it going without feeling like I am interviewing them?
that is where the secret weapon of the open question comes in. One more time. The secret weapon of the open question is how you keep things moving.
I have heard of those. Those are the ones that do not have a yes or no answer, right?
Exactly. They require a story or an explanation.
It sounds like that would take even more energy to think of.
Not if you use a simple formula.
I love a good formula. Tell me more.
The biggest fear for an introvert is the awkward silence. It usually happens because we ask questions that lead to a dead end.
I am the queen of dead-end questions. I ask, "How are you?" and they say, "Good." Then we both just stare at each other.
It is a classic mistake. We think we are being polite, but we are actually making the other person do all the work.
I never thought of it that way. I thought I was being nice by being brief.
To fix this, you need to use the how or why architecture.
That sounds a bit technical. What does that look like in real life?
Instead of asking, "Did you have a good weekend?" you ask, "How did you spend your weekend?" Think about that. Instead of asking, "Did you have a good weekend?" you ask, "How did you spend your weekend?"
The first one just needs a yes. The second one needs a list of activities.
Exactly. You are inviting them to share a slice of their life with you.
I tried this once at a dinner party. I asked someone how they knew the host.
That is a great one. What happened?
They ended up telling me a story about a backpacking trip they took 10 years ago. I did not have to say anything for 5 minutes.
That is the introvert's dream. You just listen and nod.
It felt like a cheat code. I was doing less work, but having a better conversation.
That is because you gave them a clear path to follow.
Does that sound familiar? You try to talk, but you feel like you are pulling teeth.
If it feels like pulling teeth, change your questions to start with the word what. Let that sink in for a second. If it feels like pulling teeth, change your questions to start with the word what.
Like, what was the best part of your day? Or what brought you here tonight?
Exactly. It shifts the focus from a fact to a feeling or an experience.
Right, a lot of people think that small talk is just about exchanging facts. But actually, it is about finding a shared emotion.
Okay, that makes more sense. I always focused on the data, like where they work or where they live.
Facts are boring. Stories are what keep us awake.
You are right. I once spent an hour talking to a guy about his job in insurance. It was miserable until I asked what he actually liked about it.
What did he say?
He told me he loved solving puzzles for people. Suddenly, he was not an insurance guy. He was a puzzle solver.
That is such a huge difference. You found the person behind the job title.
It changed the whole energy of the conversation.
So the goal is to get them to explain their why.
One more time. The goal is to get them to explain their why.
I can do that. I am naturally curious about why people do things.
That is your strength. Use that curiosity as your guide.
But what if I am the one being asked the questions? I hate being in the spotlight.
That is the second half of the loop. You have to give the other person something to work with.
You mean I cannot just say fine when they ask how I am?
You can, but you are closing the door on them.
I do that because I do not want to bore them with my life.
You are not boring. You just need to add a +1 to your answer.
A +1? Like an extra person?
No, an extra piece of information. Here it is again. Add a +1 of information to every short answer you give.
So if someone asks if I am busy, I don't just say yes?
Right. You say, "Yes, I am finishing a big project for a client in London."
Now they can ask about the project or about London.
Exactly. You have given them 2 hooks to grab onto.
It is like playing catch. I have to actually throw the ball back.
Exactly. If you just drop the ball, the game ends.
I think I can manage one extra sentence.
It takes practice, but it becomes a habit very quickly.
I am starting to feel more confident about this already.
Good. Because the next step is how to keep that ball moving back and forth without getting tired.
I am ready. Let us talk about the flow.
Once the conversation is moving, you need a way to keep it going without thinking of new topics.
That is the hardest part. My brain eventually just goes blank.
There is a technique used by FBI negotiators called mirroring. It is perfect for introverts.
Negotiators? That sounds intense for a chat by the water cooler.
It is actually very simple. You just repeat the last few words of what the other person said, but as a question.
I do not think I follow. Can you give me an example?
Sure, if I say, I had a really long day at the office, you would say, at the office?
And then you would explain more about the office without me asking a real question.
Exactly. It signals that you are listening and want to hear more. Think about that. Mirroring is just repeating the last 3 words of a sentence as a question.
That is so low effort. I love it.
It works because people love to expand on what they have said.
I remember trying something like this with my cousin. She said she was thinking of moving. I just said, moving?
And I bet she talked for 10 minutes about her house hunt.
She did. I barely had to say anything else.
That is the power of mirroring. It keeps the spotlight on them while you recharge.
Before we go on, if this is making small talk click for you, hit subscribe. We put out new videos every week, and I do not want you to miss them.
She is right. Okay, let us keep going.
So mirroring is for when they are talking. What do I do when it is my turn again?
You use the ping pong method. You share a small thought and then immediately pass it back.
Like a literal game of ping pong.
Exactly. You never want to hold the ball for too long. One more time. Never hold the conversation ball for more than 3 sentences before passing it back.
So I share a quick story, then ask them what they think.
Yes, it prevents you from rambling and keeps the other person engaged.
Does that sound familiar? You start talking, notice the other person looking away, and realize you have been talking for 5 minutes.
We have all been there. It is a very uncomfortable feeling.
The ping pong method stops that from ever happening.
It also makes the conversation feel more like a partnership.
I like that. It feels less like a performance and more like a collaboration.
Exactly. You are building something together.
What if the topic is something I know absolutely nothing about?
That is actually a great position to be in.
Really? I usually feel like an idiot when that happens.
Don't use your lack of knowledge as a way to be a student. Here is a key concept. Being a student is the easiest way to keep a conversation alive. Let that sink in for a second. Being a student is the easiest way to keep a conversation alive.
So I just admit I do not know and ask them to explain it to me.
People love being the expert. It makes them feel good.
And I get to learn something new while they do the talking.
It is a win-win situation.
I tried this with a guy who was into crypto. I told him I was confused by it.
I bet he was thrilled to explain it.
He was. I did not understand half of it, but the conversation was very smooth.
That is the goal. It does not have to be a deep intellectual debate.
It is just about the connection in the moment.
Exactly. You are just trying to have a pleasant time.
One thing I struggle with is the transition. How do I move from one topic to the next?
You use a bridge. You find one word in their sentence and use it to jump to a new thought. Think about that. Use a single word as a bridge to a new topic.
Like if they mention a dog, I can talk about my cat?
Exactly. The word pet is the bridge.
That makes it feel much less random than just changing the subject.
It feels natural because there is a logical link.
I am starting to see how these pieces fit together.
It is all about building a system so you do not have to rely on inspiration.
Inspiration is unreliable. A system works every time.
That is the secret to being a social introvert.
Now, there is one more thing we have to cover. The ending.
The most important part. Let us talk about how to leave. For an introvert, the hardest part of small talk is not starting. It is knowing how to stop.
Yes! I often stay in conversations way too long because I do not want to be rude.
Then you end up feeling drained and resentful. That is not good for anyone.
I once stayed at a networking event for 3 hours because I did not know how to say goodbye to the first person I met.
That sounds exhausting. You need a positive future exit line.
A positive future? That sounds very optimistic.
It just means you end the conversation by mentioning something good you will do later. Here it is again. End the conversation by mentioning a positive future action.
Like saying, I am going to go grab some food, or I need to go find my friend.
Exactly. It gives you a clear reason to leave without making it about the other person.
It feels much better than just saying, I am tired of talking to you.
Right. You are not rejecting them. You are just moving towards something else.
I remember using this at a holiday party. I told the person it was great meeting them, but I promised to help with the drinks.
And they probably said no problem and moved on too.
They did. It was so fast and painless.
The key is to be firm but warm.
What if I just need a break from everyone? Like, I need to go sit in my car for 10 minutes.
Do it. Managing your energy is your responsibility. Let that sink in for a second. Managing your energy is your responsibility, not the host's.
I used to feel so guilty for taking breaks. I thought I was failing at being social.
You are not failing. You are just an introvert. Your battery has a limit.
Think about the last time you felt that social wall. You stop being able to process words.
When that happens, you are no longer a good conversationalist anyway.
So taking a break actually makes me better when I come back.
Exactly. A 10-minute recharge can give you another hour of social energy.
That is a game changer for long events like weddings.
I always schedule bathroom breaks that are actually just stare-at-the-wall breaks.
I do the same thing. It is the only way I survive conferences.
It is a totally valid strategy. Do not let anyone make you feel bad for it.
Here is another concept. Give yourself a time limit before you even arrive.
One more time. Set a departure time before you walk through the door.
That way, I know there is an end in sight. It makes the time I am there more bearable.
Exactly. If you know you are leaving at 9, you can give it your all until then.
It is like a sprint instead of a marathon.
Precisely. Introverts are great at social sprints.
But we are terrible at marathons.
That is okay. We just have to play to our strengths.
What if someone tries to follow me or keep talking after I have used my exit line?
You repeat the line and keep moving. Physical movement is a big part of the exit. Think about that. Use physical movement to reinforce your exit line.
So I should start taking a step back as I say my goodbye.
Yes. It sends a nonverbal signal that the interaction is over.
It feels a bit aggressive, but I guess it is necessary.
It is not aggressive. It is clear. People appreciate clarity.
I suppose you are right. It is better than being vague.
One more thing. Always end on a high note. Here it is again. Always leave while the conversation is still good, not when it has died.
That seems counterintuitive. Why would I leave if we are having fun?
Because that is how they will remember you. They will remember a great chat, not a slow, awkward decline.
That is a very smart way to handle your reputation.
It leaves them wanting more, which makes the next time easier.
I never thought about it like that. I always waited for the silence to leave.
Try leaving while you are both still smiling. It feels amazing.
I am definitely trying that at my next work event.
You will be the most memorable person there.
I think I have all the tools I need now.
You really do. You have the opening, the middle, and the end.
Let us wrap this all up for everyone.
Today we covered how to use your environment as an anchor and how to ask open questions. We even looked at how to leave a conversation without feeling guilty.
I really loved the idea of the +1 answer. It makes so much sense to give people a hook to hold on to.
And don't forget the mirroring technique. It is the ultimate low-energy way to keep someone talking.
If something clicked for you in this video, type "I got it" in the comments. I read every single one. Tonight, I want you to try one thing. Use a +1 answer the next time someone asks you a simple question.
If you made it here, you now understand something most people using social skills every day still do not. Subscribe so we can keep building on that together. If you want to go further, our next video is about how to handle social anxiety in large groups. It will help you with those big parties where you do not know a single person.
I cannot wait for that one. See you there.
Your English journey does not end here. Watch more videos and keep practicing.